Welcome to the Shit I'm 30 podcast. This is the weekly show where we discuss and share our unfiltered opinions on topics such as mental health, relationships, sometimes it gets a little kinky, and we talk about sex, parenting, and so much more. With me, your host, Carla Ramirez. Now, my goal is to get rid of society's expectations about where we should be when we're in our 30s and just free ourselves to live the lives that we've always dreamed of. Now, friends, remember, it is never too late. Welcome back, guys, to another episode of Shit I'm 30. I am in New York. It is Thanksgiving week. I am giving you guys this a day late, so I apologize. I've been traveling this entire time. If you follow me on social media, you know that I am in New York with the one person that has missed me so much. She was depressed, and if you're a good friend, you're come lying. Back and you stay off the mic. She didn't even last 2 minutes. We're like getting on the mic. I had to come be with her for the holidays so she wouldn't be depressed. It might be the fact that I would have been depressed being at home by myself. But I am here.
Be honest with them. Tell them you came for the dick. Thanks.
Whoa.
What?
This how we going to start off?
Okay,
I was going to talk about things that we're grateful for.
Grateful for that dick. All right, Shit I'm 30 podcast. Let's go.
I can't. Okay, well, today I have been wanting to record with this person on this platform because I recorded with her on hers. And we have JustLatasha. But it's not just Latasha. It's like Latasha.
It is.
The Latasha. Can we just say the Latasha?
It is. Latasha, the pony. What's good?
You should be you're more like a stallion, baby.
I am a fucking stallion.
What's pony about you, please?
Nothing.
Not a damn thing.
Not a goddamn
at
thing.
all. So thank you for coming on. It was super. I mean, I texted you last week, I know, but it was like super last minute to get stuff here during the holidays. Like everybody's gone.
My ass ain't going nowhere. So
Good.
whatever you want to do, let's do it.
It was so easy. And that's one of the things that I love so much about here. It's like you hit up creatives and they're like, yeah, let's do it.
Sure.
It doesn't matter when, how, like, let's just get things done.
We in between stuff.
I love that when I come here. So I don't know if you had the show before, so I have a couple of different segments. So the first one is Shit You Should Know. It's usually something that I find online that I want to talk about, or I feel like we all should know about. It could be current or old. But I just... This. What?
Go ahead.
What do you hate?
This topic.
The anal one?
segment.
Oh, because it has to do with ass.
Oh.
I thought you would like it, actually. This is right up your alley, ma'am. So I saw on CNN Health that anal cancer rates and deaths are climbing in the U.S. So there was a study about it, and I was like, anal? So I'm thinking rectum and stuff like that, but no, it's literally just anal. So the cases and deaths are rising dramatically in the U.S., especially among older people and young black men, and also white women. So researchers are saying that the trends in anal cancer over about 15 years have identified about 69,000 cases and more than 12,000 deaths of anal cancer during this time. So I was like, what the hell is going on? So from 2001 and 2015, cases of the most common type of anal cancer increased by 2.7% per year, while anal cancer death rates increased by 3.1.
Anal cancer is caused how? Did you?
Yes.
I would love to know that.
So I was trying to figure out what was going on because, like I said, I hear of rectum or, higher up, and they actually linked it to HPV. So you know how us as women, there's a lot of like cervical cancer when it comes to because of HPV. So now my thoughts, this is not in the article of CNN. This is me over here being a scientist.
You are not a doctor.
I'm a doctor. I'm a Google doctor. So I'm thinking that because Horrible Decisions has been talking so much about anal play, and they've made it so normal that now everyone's trying this whole booty play, and it's increasing HPV.
It is your fault. I actually do link this to you as well.
And it's saying young black man and like millennials, and you're out here, pushing this whole booty play
once a quarter
and pushing his booty.
Right. So, but no, HPV usually comes from men. It's given to us by men, and then if within the LGBT community is going on. So anal is very hard to detect because they're not looking into the rectum. It's literally right there. So they're not looking for it. So that happened to me. And I actually like this because when I had my cancer, it was vaginal. It was not cervical. So for about 2 years, I've spoken about it before on the show. I had a lot of pain. I couldn't have sex, and we didn't know what it was. They sent me to psychiatrists. They sent me to psychologists. They made me have all this therapy. They said it was all in my head until this one doctor took the time for about 20 minutes in my vagina, just touching, talking, and he's like, I feel something. And they did the biopsy on my actual vaginal wall. By that time, my muscles were spasmed. I was diagnosed on a Tuesday. By Thursday, I was in the surgery room. So to me, this is huge because they don't look for it. So you might not know you have anal cancer. So I feel like if you're maybe like active with anal, you should probably get this checked out.
Are you active with anal, Latasha?
No, but I did perform. I gave the anal to people.
Oh, you did some pegging?
I didn't peg. I put a
So
finger.
what'd you-
I put a finger in there.
Oh, okay.
On a few people this fall season. It was nice. It was
I
really
thought you
nice.
just said you haven't had any. Oh, you haven't
didn't
sucked
receive.
dick.
Well, that was a private conversation amongst friends.
Oh.
I didn't say that on the mic. I thought you had my back.
I'm trying to get you
I
some
was-
right now. This is coming out tomorrow, so somebody might offer.
No thanks. You know, I'm all right. I'm okay. No, I was putting my fingers in there.
Yeah.
It was fun.
So you don't do booty play with your booty?
I tried. It's not for me. There's just so much like mental prep to be like, breathe, loosen up, relax, and it's just like by the time I'm ready to go, I'm over it. It's too much work.
Carla, this is the Shit I'm 30 podcast. Is there an age range on when people should maybe start requesting these tests to be done?
there isn't. What they're saying on here is maybe that if you are engaging in anal sex and anal play or whatever, just get checked out, if anything, to see. There's not
we
really.
should ask our doctor. Hey,
Yeah.
I know you're checking my pussy, but maybe you
Because
should check my
as
ass
women,
too.
we find out if we have HPV and all these things because we get our annual, check.
Pap.
So we don't get booty paps. And neither do men. They go get their prostate checked at 40. So by the time they check at 40, the thing it has gone
They
to other
spread
parts of their body.
cancer all over.
And then
Right.
cancer, like seriously, it's like the biggest silent killer that we have. I think about cancer sometimes and I'm like, wow, it's insane how many people are being affected by it, and we really don't know where the hell it's coming from.
That is a good point. And may I just share an experience with you all? Because I
Please
think I
do.
was like, I must have been just about 20, probably a little younger. And I went to the gynecologist by myself. And there was this gentleman there who was working with like an assistant or whoever that second person is in the room. He brought her to the side. He whispered something and she left. And then he checked my butt. And I know that any other gynecologist I've been to has never checked my
I've
butt.
never had my ass checked.
So I'm always kind of just like, did he do something? Or was that supposed to be actually a part of the test? Because he's the only one who checked my butt. But the way he asked her to leave the room before he checked my butt, I was like, was that supposed to happen? But anyway.
That's interesting. I've never, if you guys are listening to this and you've had your anus, is it anus or anal? Your anus
I think you could
checked.
use both. They can
Yeah,
use
it's
both.
anus. If you had your anus checked, your booty hole, while you go to the gynecologist, let me know, because I've never had it done. But now that I read this, I'm like, should we be well, because, I mean, you can get it even if you're not using it.
That
You're
really
shitting all
sucks.
day.
That really
But it's the
fucking
same.
sucks.
So we had this conversation with herpes.
Yes.
When you get tested, they test you for everything under the sun.
But
They will not test you for herpes unless you request to be tested for
Right.
herpes. Because it's such a common thing. It's like 8 out of 10. So they commonly just won't test you. So when you go to a doctor, you should probably request a full. And you
have
normally
to.
have to sign for consent for HIV, for AIDS, for herpes. You have to sign for them to go into that extra test. And it normally does cost more as well.
it does. So if you guys go back about 3 or 4 episodes with Carolyn Tony, she tells us exactly which test it is that you need to ask for, because she is an advocate of herpes. She's a herpes positive woman that lives a very free sexual life and polygamy. But she tells us exactly what to ask for, because it's something that you shouldn't be scared to ask for. And you should know you're not being tested for it. I didn't know that I wasn't being tested for it until like I think 30.
Yeah, I didn't even know to be tested for it. Like I just was going in.
You
they
think
gave me my
you-
results, and I was like, "Thank you so much."
I'm clean,
I've
but
got
you
it
have
out.
no idea whether you really are or not. And there's all different kinds of strains of herpes that you
we
can
should
have.
use negative instead of clean.
You're right. Thank you.
Say that shit.
Like we gotta watch our labels. We gotta watch our labels.
No, and it's true, because what is clean? You know, we out here having
Not
some
me, bitch.
I've had some dirty dicks.
Oh.
It might not have been positive, but now that I'm thinking about it,
They
listen,
don't wash.
we have some dirty dick niggas. I don't
They
even
don't
buy
wash. They
washing.
really
I'm like,
don't.
they've been out here.
I'd be so healthy until I start having sex. Then I'm like, all right, you just gotta.
What do you?
Yeast infections all the time.
All the time.
I'm still having to ask partners, can you wash your hands? We just got in from outside. Can you please go wash your hands?
Is that a conversation you have too?
I have to have it because they don't even think about it.
No,
They
come
don't
from
even think about
outside
it.
in a city like this,
And
New
trying
York,
to
and walk in
touch
there, and I'm like,
My
what are you doing?
vagina.
Do you know how disgusting that handle is? Your phone.
And then when I'm
Your phone. Oh, they put back of the ear juice on your fucking vagina. Yo, that's disgusting. Disgusting. That's what I can think of. Okay. Well, anyway, going into our topic, this is something you spoke of recently, and I hadn't gotten a chance to speak on it here, but I wanted to speak on it just on an aspect of us as women of color, because I feel like it's something that we do all the time, and I have seen it being done, especially within the Hispanic community, towards men, because they have to be such machos, and we get that macho man thing from when I was growing up. Like, men had to be just like, ugh, and they couldn't do anything. So the Tamar Braxton thing that happened. So basically, she went on social media and warned women that their men were quote unquote gay if they refused to physically be intimate with them after several days. So I took a step back because it's happened to me. There's so many different reasons why a man might not want to be sexual with you. And I feel like she was objectifying men the same way that we as women scream.
Right.
Don't objectify us. We're not just pussy. We're not just sex. We're so much more than that. And we have a woman that has a platform so big as such as hers, for her to say something like this, especially towards men of color. So now men of color are basically saying like, hey, A-King, how are you? So I wanted to bring this up with you and I wanted to get your thoughts on it, because I remember being in a relationship where things didn't happen for weeks. And then I came to find out maybe a month later why it was that he felt the way that he felt. And it was, money issues, or he was feeling a certain way with something that I had said and I had no idea, and I come to find out weeks later. So there's just so many reasons. Men have emotions. So what do you think about this whole, what she said and us as a whole, not allowing men to have emotions, basically?
I mean, we're all a part of the patriarchy game, and I think we all have to unpack our minds from everything that we've been taught and everything that we've been groomed to know, and that goes for men and women. And so many women can be agents of patriarchy, and that's pretty much what was happening. We were sold the idea that men are leaders, they're stronger, they're smarter, they're sexual deviants, they're like savages.
They're animals, literally.
Yeah, and it's like they can't control themselves. And when they want to cheat on you, they lean into that as like a little privilege, a little excuse to be like, oh, I can't control myself. You can fucking control yourself.
Right.
And that's pretty much it. She's an agent of patriarchy, and she believes that men have no sexual agency. Like, this is pussy. You want it, don't you? And it's just like, not tonight. I stubbed my toe and I really like to lay down. Like, it could be literally anything. And to use homosexuality as an insult to a straight man, when you proudly proclaim that, like, your entire team is gay, your hair, your makeup, your nails, and you surround yourself with these gay male entourage, when it's time to insult your heterosexual man, you call him gay? That's an insult?
Right.
Or, like, you don't want me because you're gay? Like, it was an insensitive
and I can
ignorant thing
say that and it's wrong, and I have to like get out of the mindset of from back in the day when we would say, oh, that's so gay.
Yeah.
And I'll catch myself and I'm like, fuck, I can't say that anymore, because it's like, it's a different culture, a different climate that we're in. Although I know that I don't mean it that way, it's going to be taken that way. And if I have people that are part of the community, I'm hurting them and I'm insulting them. Mm-hmm. So I would never go into like a platform and knowingly say something like that. Like, I have to catch myself and think about whenever I speak nowadays, especially because we have to be careful of that. But I just feel like we have to be more careful with how we treat men. Like, I remember someone saying, it was a couple years ago, it's like, oh, your man likes to cuddle. That's so gay. Mm-hmm. Cuddling? I like to cuddle.
As if they're not, like, emotionally intimate. And it's just like you're asking them to be sensitive and vulnerable, and then insulting them when they want to just hold you.
The toughest of men that are out here, they want that as well.
Yeah. Oh, they love being a little spoon. They love it. They eat that shit up.
Little spoon.
I
don't know if I like being big spoon too often.
I love being big spoon.
Do you?
I used to date this huge man, his security guard, knocking niggas out every Friday. He loved it. And he would just curl up under me, soft.
No, I want the big man to be on top of me.
I mean, that happens too now, girl. They roll over on a Saturday, but on Friday, he a little spoon.
I feel. No. I've done the big spoon for a little while, but it's just like, it's so big, or like, my arm gets tired. I don't know how they do it. Like,
Oh, you gotta learn how to tuck. So you gotta put
how-
your shoulder between the shoulder and the neck. That little nook right there.
Right
So
here?
it's that little space. Yeah, like right here.
oh.
And then when they laying down, your hand is in that little nook, and then you rub their back.
Okay, so okay.
Or you keep both your hands on you, so you have like one at the 4 o'clock and one at the 9 o'clock, and you just bow. That 9 o'clock going big rubs. The little.
Oh, wait, 9
little
o'clock
hand.
is over here.
Yep, the little hand just going real soft on the back.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because my arm be getting tired. And I
Yeah.
commend them. I'm like, wow, they do this all night. Like, you really love
They
me.
be in the wrong nook sometime too. Shit.
That is real love. Well, yeah, ladies, if you, I know it's majority women of color that listen to the show. So let's just be careful on how we treat our men, because sometimes we don't realize that what we're saying fucks with their mind. I remember, with a relationship I had, he had a child that it wasn't a blended family like it should have been. And I remember I've said some very hurtful things. And just because of that, mentally he was fucked up and didn't want to do anything with me.
Absolutely.
So it can literally, and my mouth shoots like an AK-47 sometimes, and I don't watch what I say, and I'll say things to hurt, to dig, you know? And then I'll be fine. Like, I'm like, oh, I said it. I didn't mean it. Let's move on. Doesn't work that way.
Sure don't.
I found out during therapy it doesn't work that way. I'd be like, oh, fuck you. I'll fuck somebody else. I'll suck that nigga, blah, blah, blah. That stays in a man's mind. And then I'm trying to figure out why he doesn't want me to jump on top of him, or why his dick's not working.
And you're looking at your mouth like that belong to another nigga.
Right. I'm like, but
That
you
ain't
just
my-
said
that
this.
ain't my mouth no more.
Right. So we can definitely hurt men. So we have to be careful what we say. It doesn't mean that they're gay. Doesn't mean that they want another man. Because I think she said on one of her things, like, they want another man. They don't want another man. I mean,
And
we never know.
And it made so much sense to her. Her ego was so inflated that if you don't want me, it has to be the only other answer.
What if your pussy was stank?
and hello?
It could be.
'Cause
There's
you
times
was out there rehearsing for that 4th album all day. Now, why the hell would I want to? Okay,
you forgot to shower, girl.
come on.
What if there could have been a BV in there that you couldn't
I
smell
like the way
yourself
your
just
wig
yet?
slipped. I'm out of the mood now.
Listen,
I hate
at
that.
all. It could have been anything about you too. So you're thinking that it's just he's the problem. You could have been the problem too. Your attitude that day, the way you've been acting. I don't know. We have to look into ourselves. And I'm not just speaking this for tomorrow. We have to look into ourselves and what we do on an everyday basis towards our significant others and why they might be acting that way. So don't. And it's not that they're always cheating either. They could just they really don't want to work.
Shout out to Tamar though. She is my first block. I
Yeah?
don't get blocked. That was my first.
Wait,
block.
she blocked you
Yeah.
off of this?
Yeah.
Well, you tagged her or something?
Of course.
Yes.
You gotta strategize. Facts.
So
So-
she didn't say anything, just blocked.
No, she said clickbait. Don't watch #lame or something like that. But I didn't see it because I don't follow her. But my viewers are like, "Hey Tosh."
So
I'm like, oh.
shout out to her. She saw your
I know.
shit.
Her music fire though.
Yeah, I
That
mean,
was fire.
this doesn't take away from her.
That was my
her
thing.
talent.
Like, I like Tamar. I
Yeah.
was just holding her accountable, which
There's-
a lot of celebrities are not used to.
So many celebrities are amazing at what they do. That doesn't mean that in a personal space you
Yeah.
fucking suck as a person.
Very true.
Like R. Kelly.
We ain't got to go down that road. But
Well,
we'll
it's
get
a
in.
really bad one, but you
Yeah.
get the point. Music was
Absolutely.
great, but you're like, God, you're a fucking shitty person.
I would love to slap him.
Oh,
I want to.
There's a
slap
lot you
him
might wanna do to him.
Right in his. Oh boy.
now there's something else I wanted to speak to you about specifically because we had this conversation when I was here in New York, and I'm in this limbo where we took a step to go to being entrepreneurs. So switching the subject.
Mm-hmm.
And we're being entrepreneurs, and I saw you spoke about it. I'm like, oh, good. She she talked about it publicly, yay! Because there's so many people that are so stuck on. If I took a leap to make something happen, your plan A will not always work, and we have to have a plan B and a plan C, and we cannot give up on our dreams. And I feel like it's so easy for people to say this is too hard, or it didn't work the way that I wanted it to work. Everything that I planned didn't work that way, so now I'm just gonna give up. So can you tell us a little bit about what you did and when you went solo, and then you just spoke about, you're like, hey guys, I went back to work, but I'm still working on, certain things, because you haven't stopped. Your vlog stopped for what, a couple weeks, but you're like, I'm back and I'm doing what I love. So give me like a background of it.
Oh man, I started being creative, or I started doing some creative work since 2010. I was out like doing street interviews and being fly and bad and all that stuff. But I was a server. And I was a server from 2010 to 2017.
Mhm.
And I'm like, okay, so I've been doing this for 7 years, going to work, serving fries, doing stuff on the side. And I'm like, at what point is this going to cross over into like an actual thing? And I realized I had to sit and really do some introspection and be like, oh, you've been treating your dreams like a hobby this entire time. Like, you've been treating it as a side gig, which is why you're getting, like, side gig responses. So I'm like, we need to switch things up, because my plan A was like, I'm going to work, I'm going to do this on the side, and it's going to blow up, and I'm going to be famous, and I'm going to be out. And the 7th year, I was like, okay, now we still ain't where we planned on being for a while. And so I decided to quit serving, and I really just stepped up the amount of work I was doing, like angling it in certain ways, connecting with other creatives. Like, I never collaborate. And if you've seen, like, this year, I've been, like, joining so many podcasts, and I've been meeting up with so many other people and going to events. And, like, I've just never...
Which we love you on.
Thank you.
So if you guys haven't watched The Grapevine, when she's on it, you gotta watch.
And so, like, I've been getting... it's just been a whole different energy once I switched my mind to that. So I did quit my job for a while, and I was like, this is just going to have to make money. But it made me really creative on, like, different ways of income. Like, if I need a bill paid by this Friday, how are we going to make that? So I was looking into Patreon, and then I was looking into YouTube, and then I was looking into merchandise. And it made me super creative. And I was throwing events, and it just made me super creative. So now I have all this other skill and streams of income, along with now another job and the stuff that I want to do. And some little pocket change to help me, like, support the things that I want to do.
I feel like now you realize, or I see in you, you're like, you know what, I can go back, but I can still work just as hard. We have 24 hours in a day. So if you're going to go work an 8-hour shift, when you leave there and you work another 8 hours, you're still at 16 hours. You still have time to sleep. So you don't always have to work in 8 hours, of course, on your side hustle, but you're going to work. While you're at work, maybe you can combine that with what you have going on.
It like crazy.
Yes.
At work, I'm doing my creative shit. Like,
I know that's right.
If I have some downtime, I'm definitely doing my creative stuff. But it feels like I'm working like 6 days a week, because now that I have Saturday, Sunday off, I got to record my vlogs, and I got to set up Patreon, and I got to do all the social media plugs and stuff. And so I still have to get that work done. And so,
I feel like we get scared before I quit. I was working on the podcast like till 12. I would leave work, and I talk about this. I leave work at 5, pick up my daughter, come home and cook up till 2 a.m. You know, either recording or editing or putting out content. Once I quit, I know I have to put just that much time and like that much work into the podcast itself. But I've always told myself, I celebrated a year recently, 2 months ago.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So I celebrated my 1 year of entrepreneurship in October. And there's this sense of, you know, you're proud, but you're also, I'm still scared. There's months that are great, and there's months that I'm like,
a little dry.
Oh shit.
A little dry.
What is going on? Like, Ayana, we might not eat. It hasn't gotten that bad, thank you, Lord. But there are times that I get in my head and I get nervous, and my anxiety gets really, really bad. But I have to remind myself, I can always go back to work. So I feel like we get so fucked up in our heads sometimes, and so into our heads thinking, we can't go back. And what are people going to think? And no one should be able to say or think about what someone else is going to think about them. So you're going back to work, and if someone has anything to say about that, you're going to pay these bills?
Mine was slightly different, because I told myself I wasn't going to be a server anymore in 2017. But this year, it gotten so financially bad, I was like, okay, I'm going to go back to be a cater waiter, because this is like all that's there for me. Right. And by the grace of God, they said no. It was like, you can't come back.
Really? And you never know why those doors are closed for you.
I was like, oh shit, I can't even get my old shit back, because I'm so scared I'm about to go backwards. And they was like, no, you're not. And so now I'm at a job that's actually in line with like my film interests, and like
you've been saying you wanted to do film forever.
Yeah.
So that you don't even. It might seem sometimes when you're feeling low, or maybe not for you, but some other people, that you're feeling like I'm taking a step back. But this could actually be some like a slingshot to even catapult you even further.
Yeah, girl.
So you never know when certain doors close, and then they open back up just because that's where you're supposed to be. So I'm glad you opened up about that. I had another guest a while back that talked about, you know, being real high. And then it was actually Cuddy. Cuddy's episode was really popular on here because it's the first time on my podcast she opened up about living in her high rise and having all this money and saying, I am broke.
Oh, I've definitely had that.
She was $100,000 in debt, and she had to leave to the Bronx to leave with her auntie. You know, and she's like, this is what I'm doing. And now she was scared of what other people would think, but she took that step back, and now she just, you know, catapulted forward. Yeah. So you can't be scared of what other people are going to think about you, especially family. I feel like those people close to you will judge you. Now we have social media, and that makes it hard as well. But you have friends that are looking at you like, oh, you're doing so well. They talk, and then you go back and you're like, look at her. She couldn't even make it. Don't worry about them. Because the ones that are speaking about you that way, they really probably don't have anything going on.
You know what's funny? I think when you're struggling, people relate to you. Because shout out to my boy Justin J. He's the king of reads on YouTube. When he was doing YouTube years ago, people understood that he was struggling. He was homeless. He was like really, really financially deficit. And so now he's successful. He's getting into celebrity spaces. He's being recognized by Bravo TV and the cast there, and he's doing great.
Right.
And so now what his fans are doing are, well, we remember when you were homeless. And they're
What?
throwing that in his face now because now they're seeing that he's in different and larger spaces. They're trying to humble him. And I think that is actually insane.
And I feel like that's going to happen regardless. I was getting it when I was here. It's like, oh, you can't stay in Orlando, or you better than us. And I'm like, you don't want me to move into spaces that are higher. Right. And it's definitely not fair. And that who it comes from, if you pay attention, are people that are miserable.
Of course.
There are people that probably wanted to be where you are and they couldn't get there.
Right.
So you're supposed to elevate yourself. You're supposed to do better. And that's supposed to be celebrated by those that really, really love you and those that appreciate your work. So thanks for like opening up about that, because I feel like most people won't open up when they say, plans changed and I'm doing something else now.
I'm good. Now I'm good. Straight. Everything's straight.
No, fuck that. I talk about my stuff all the time, and I wrote on Patreon, so I'm very open on Patreon about certain things. But I spoke about the fact that my anxiety has flared up really, really bad recently. I know it has to do with the holidays and my dad's birthday passed, and all these things were going on. But even during that time, part of the thing that I wrote on my Patreon was I just took a minute to wake up and say what I'm grateful for. And if you sit back, it doesn't matter. I don't care if I don't have money for a bill, or if that day what I wanted to make I didn't make, or that month, I sit back and say I have a home, I have a car, my child is healthy, I have a partner, or there's food. There's all these little things that you're grateful for, that you sit back and look at other people and you can say, wow, at least I'm not there. You can be so much further. And if you woke up in your life and you're healthy, like, that's just fine. Yeah. And I feel like we have to think about that, just especially right now during the holidays. Holidays are they're really hard for me. And I feel like they're really hard for other people, because I feel like we take into account materialistic things. Oh, let's have a huge Thanksgiving or a huge Christmas, or let's take a trip to Greece, and do all these. You don't have to do any of that. There's sometimes that it feels good to just sit at home and have a whatever cooked meal and just play a game. Uno cards, and that can fulfill you, instead of looking to the side and say, what is everybody else doing? You don't gotta look to the side. Now, this is a fun one, and I don't want this woman to come back for this one, because I saw this one on the reel and it was a topic, and I know you are a proud Black woman and you love your race and you're Black power all the way. So I saw on the reel, and they were talking about, how do you feel about dating outside your race, and why are Black women less likely to get married? So would you date outside of your race?
I would. And I've said this on the grapevine, and I said this on my vlog, and people get really upset with me that I don't think interracial dating is a threat to your race, like, at all. And I think we get so clouded by the very real consequences of race. Like, we could sit back and say, like, we're all human. We all bleed red.
Okay.
There's only one race, the human race. Yes, like, race is a man-made construct, but the consequences of race is very real every day. Right. That, coupled with the expansiveness that is love. I think love is an emotion that humans cannot grasp into their full understanding and their own consciousness. And I think to limit that because of the consequences of race is coming from a wound. It's coming from, like, a place of defense, right? Because, like, we have been at the hands of violence of white supremacy for so long that we're fucking hurt. And so to see a Black man love a white woman when she would bump me in the store because she doesn't recognize my Black body is also standing in the aisle with her. Right. Or we see a Black man, like, chasing after some Blasian or some Asian, or, like, really denouncing like their own black women. I think there's so many nuances there that make us like really angst, like, go against like the idea of interracial dating. But I think love is love, and where people get a little defensive is when you're dating because of what you hate within your own. Like if you hate black women, they don't like to get their hair wet. They got an attitude. They always argue and they always mad. So I'm gonna go get me a white woman because she X, Y, and Z. And it's just like, that's when we have a problem with interracial dating. Or when you go
that's when you should have a problem.
Yes.
Even though it doesn't necessarily affect you. You're the miserable one and you hate us. So the hate that you have in you shouldn't affect me. But that's when you're like, that's wrong.
Right, because you're insulting me to love someone else. And this is something that we even say that black women have said to non-black women, like that compliment, that quote unquote compliment from a black man of why he likes you, that's not a compliment. Him hating me shouldn't make you feel better. Like, does he want to learn your language, your culture, your history? Does he want to learn how to cook your food? Does he want to wear your cultural garments? Does he want to know about you as whoever you are?
Or is he just loving you because you're not her?
Right.
And I don't want to be just like, it's not. You're basically just the leftover.
Yeah.
You're what he doesn't want. Like, okay, you just was left. Come here. Let me just get you because you're not her. And really, that hate is so strong. When you have hate, it's so much stronger than love. So there's no love there. He's just being with you because of his hate.
Yeah.
And
I remember being friends with this Puerto Rican girl like years ago, and she kind of said it with pride. Like she was dating some black dude who was dating some black dude, and she was like, well, I don't know, he likes Spanish girls. And like she said it with such like a little snarky like pride, and I'm like, does he? Like, I don't know if he does, versus he's really upset and trying to distance himself from black women.
And I've seen that because me being Spanish, I've gotten it before. They'll be like, oh, the black. So I have a preference. I've never dated a Spanish guy, and I can say my preference is black men. And I think it's because I got here 8 years old. And I went to school in my high school was the first black city in Florida. I played ball. Like that was what I was around all of the time. And it ended up being what I am attracted to and what I feel that I share the most with. So I didn't feel connected to Hispanics. Right. Plus, I was like in a wider area when I was growing up, like my household, but I was then in school with people of color. So for me, that's exactly what I was attracted to. And I would get it from the black guys like, oh, he's just dating you because it is. And I'm thinking, no, I think there's just a connection there. So, or why don't you date Spanish men? You're racist against your own kind. Maybe I don't have anything in common with them, and that's how I felt about it. And I will never allow a black man to come to me and tell me, oh, I like you because fuck these black women. I'll be like,
right.
Excuse me?
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, we're very similar. You shut your white ass up. And there are
culturally and based on like where you're
but our cultures are be quiet. That our cultures, like you said, you have to be willing to learn their culture. So my culture is very different. Right? My parents are born in Puerto Rico. I was born there. So when I got here, my culture is different. Are you willing to learn mine? Because I have to learn yours. Regardless of whether I grew up here and I had to learn it regardless, there's still so many things I have to learn, especially like living and being in a relationship that's different. So
can we pause real quick?
What you got to say?
While she's trying to learn other people. So have you ever had spicy sweet potatoes?
No.
We're cooking for Thanksgiving this week.
Bro.
What? I just need to ask.
What is wrong with you? You turn the mic off.
It is Thanksgiving. We want to give our blessings. She is dating a black man and has black family members coming over. So,
so you're just going to tell everybody?
I mean, yes, they done listened already. They know who you dating. So
I can't have around this. This is why I need to shut the mic off.
So we're cooking. I'm going to cook the greens for her, but I'm like, bro, you need yams, sweet potatoes. Like, you need it. And she's like, well, I make mine spicy. I said, you better not make no spicy yams. So I said, what do you put in your sweet potatoes? She said, cayenne pepper. I said, baby girl.
Okay, here's the thing.
I'll candy them yams for you, baby.
I don't like sweet food, like ham with pineapples in it, and I don't like that. I don't like fruit in my salad. Like I like spicy food. I'm a spicy person. So when I make sweet potatoes, I cut them up and I make them like sweet potato fries. And I
would
put
eat
salt,
at your
pepper,
house
and
the day after Thanksgiving. I would go eat the sweets first, the black sweets first, and then visit.
Yeah, I don't like sweet food. I don't.
She had. I heard that on the mic. There was a long sigh
I had to gasp.
Yeah, I don't like sweet food. So it's just like you can.
You don't know why Annie's got the fat elbows?
Who?
It's the sugars.
Big Mama, your arm.
Y'all ain't
Big
shit.
Mama almost lost her left leg due to the sugars.
See, Maria in the Spanish culture got the elbows too, but it's because of fried food.
Y'all do be frying
We
everything.
fry
Y'all
everything.
fry fucking everything.
So we're not our sweets
And
is
this
like
fucking
desserts.
salt.
Yeah, salt and our sweets. We eat a lot of desserts. It's mostly fried food. So it's just that's a culture thing. When you're dating some of them in different cultures, like one's gonna have fried food, the other one's gonna have candied yams. I don't want no sweet shit in my food. I just don't. I want ham and
So I
pineapple.
told her I'll make it for her. I said, girl, you can't have black people coming over here eating spicy.
But
Spicy sweet potatoes.
listen, she wants to be so black, but they want to bring out some pumpkin shit.
I
And like
love pumpkin, bitch.
right.
I don't love pumpkin, but pumpkin can get it in the fall sometimes. I do be
No.
stopping by. Yeah,
She
I stop by
orgasms
pumpkin.
the second Starbucks starts having pumpkin.
Mandy comes very easily. And I think we know that.
Hey, I'm C. Mike.
Right. So don't talk about my spicy sweet potatoes. I love spicy everything. You always get mad at me because I make everything spicy.
Yeah, I'll take my Pepsid. Thanks.
You will get heartburn with me.
Heartburn.
Always. Well, we're going to go on to unsolicited advice, but before we do that, I actually want to talk about one of our sponsors that we have for today. And you said you haven't had sex in a while. So,
What are you doing?
oh, sorry. I'm trying to bring you some dick, friend. I'm trying to you have to manifest things into life to happen. So basically, now men can increase their stamina, their confidence in bed.
Oh,
So
I was just thinking about this. Please continue.
yes. So there's something called bluechew.com, like blue, like the color. So I'm now in a long distance relationship and I've been talking about it for the past couple of weeks. And when we get together, we don't have much time. So we need time.
Jackhammering.
We got to get everything we can get. So I can't just do one and done. No, we can't do that. So Blue Chew is this first chewable FDA-approved active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis. So, back in the day, parents and grandparents were taking Viagra. Well, now you can just pop up tablet whenever because it's chewable, and then you'll have 9-hour round. Just going.
Women can take it too?
No, it's for the men.
Okay.
So, but we can have it ready to have it for
Samantha
them.
Jones was popping Viagra, and I was like, that's the most fire thing I've ever seen in my
So
life.
when I was having, you know what, we can check. So call. I'm gonna give you when you guys go to butcher.com, call, and they're gonna give you a call, and you can ask because when I was having my vaginal issues and I had to go to therapy, they actually prescribed me Viagra. And they said that I can take it. So I hear people like Viagra's for men, but they did prescribe it to me to take it. I'm not sure what it did.
I'm gonna get the blood going. Get that
Probably.
lump about it. Loosen up
I
that
don't
lump down
know.
there.
Literally. So basically, your man can take this anytime, day or night, on a full stomach. It doesn't matter. They work twice as fast as the pill. So literally, if he's about to come over, he can take it. And boom, do it. Or pop it once he gets there. You guys have foreplay, and then he's ready to go. Meet, ready to go. Whoa. And I'm saying it because we used it, So most guys talk about how they can last all night. So now that I'm in long distance, I want all night. When I was living with someone, I didn't need all night. One and done. Give me 15 minutes. Are you more than a 15-minute person?
Yeah, shit, I'm 34. We need to go for long time.
Listen, after 30, you need it for a long time.
Oh, God.
Yeah, so Blue Chew is prescribed online, and it goes straight to your door in a discreet package. Also, because I have a 14-year-old. I don't need her knowing that there's a package of Blue Chew coming in and that I'm about to have an all-night sex. I need her to go to sleep because if not, she's going to try to listen through the door, and I don't need that happening.
Try to listen to the door.
Listen, recently, I'm going to tell you a story real quick. So we were in the room for a while, right? We were supposed to be going to the store, but we got derailed.
Yeah.
And, shit started up again. So, because, Blue Chew, it was the weekend.
Slide them panties to the slide.
Right. Slide them. And we were going in. So we get out the room and we're like, man, I hope she didn't hear us. And as soon as we opened the door, she goes, oh, I thought you guys were already at the store. she is so shady. I know she knew what we was doing. We both looked at each other like, let's go. To the store we go now. Get the fuck out this house. But when you have Blue Chew, that's what happens. You just keep going. So you look to the side, they go hard. Whoop, let's go. Let's put it to work. So you don't have to have an in-doctor visit like Viagra. You don't have to go to a pharmacy. There's no awkwardness going in. And it's made in the USA. And it's cheaper than Viagra. So right now, just for the Shit I'm 30 listeners, you can go to bluechew.com and get your first shipment for free. I like free. So when you get your friend Latasha, you can get it for free. Mm-hmm. When you use the promo code 30, you only pay $5 in shipping. Again, that is bluechew.com, promo code 30, and you can try it for free. Now, Blue Chew is better, cheaper, the faster choice, and we want to thank them for sponsoring this podcast. Now, going over to unsolicited advice. This is the one part where we give advice. Sometimes they ask for it, sometimes they don't, but we're going to give it to them anyway.
Sometimes they don't want the advice?
No. Sometimes I just find people that need the advice and we're going to tell them.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. Because, like, I just look at it and I'm like, you need advice from me.
Okay.
Not from any, like, whoever you ask is not giving you the best one. It's time for us, you know? Because I give better advice. I'm an unofficial expert. So this one says, I have come to believe that my mother is living vicariously through me. Are you close with your mom? Because I'm not.
We're cool.
Okay, yeah, I'm not with mine.
Touchy. Next.
Right.
Right.
I know her.
I feel you, friend.
We know each other.
I know about her. Well, this girl feels like her mother is living vicariously through her. She says, I always knew that she and I had a special bond. She's always been closer to me than my sisters. I'm the only one that looks more like her, and I have similar personality to her, so I thought that maybe that's what made she and I so close. And speaking with my sisters the other day, something was brought up that made me think that maybe she's pushing me to live the life that she missed out on. From the age of 5 through 14, she pushed me to model. Day in and day out, we'd trek to New York for go-sees, auditions, and work. All I wanted was to be a kid, but instead I had the responsibility of working. When my sisters were going to Great Adventure and Sesame Place, I was on set somewhere or rushing around the city to go for go-sees. As I grew up and began to protest, she would always emphasize how beautiful I am and how everyone is not as fortunate as me. While in high school, she made sure I was always up to date with fashion. She spent thousands of dollars on clothes, shoes, and bags, always making sure I was in True Religion, 7 for All Mankind, and had nice bags. Basically anything that had a label on it, I was sure to have it. She'd have like a screening process with anyone that I liked as a potential boyfriend. And if he wasn't, let's say, a good prospect, he'd be vetoed. She always pushed me to be the star athlete, saying you have to align yourself with the right people. You just can't be dating anyone. When I turned 17, she arranged for me to volunteer for Fashion Week so I could get more familiar with the industry and mingle around the crowd. She got me a brand new car for my birthday and graduation gift.
Her sisters don't hate her?
Exactly. That as I'm reading this, I'm like, oh my gosh. And I can relate, and I have a sibling that's her, basically. Ooh. So now that I'm away at college, she's still trying to guide what I do and who I date. I attend a D1 university, and my mom made friends on Facebook with the star athlete at my school.
Okay, Mom.
Mom. Who's mom? I'm glad mine don't like me this much. I don't know if her intention was to get us together originally, but that's what ended up happening. Don't get me wrong, he's a good catch, but I don't know. It's like she has to be in the middle of everything. She scheduled my spring break trip before I even decided where I wanted to go away. Her reasoning was, well, everyone is going to be there. I didn't want you to have missed the opportunity. Besides that, she focuses on my appearances and how I should look at all times. Sends me ridiculous expensive clothes, shoes, and bags. She just seems to go overboard. She does all this for me, but doesn't focus anywhere near as much attention on my sisters. I'm not ungrateful, I guess. I just starting to become weird for me. It's almost like she wants to do everything she wasn't able to. Do you think it's normal? And how do I speak to her about it without hurting her feelings? There's so much here. The mom is definitely living through her. And after I read this, I noticed that she never said no to any of this.
Right.
So you like it. So maybe it's something now?
No, a lot of kids have people-pleasing traits.
So you think
I have a really bad people-pleasing trait, and that includes it's because of my parents.
What is that? Explain that.
Like you need that approval, because I know, like, when I either had the wrong answer, or I made a decision like my father wouldn't make, or I did something that he didn't approve of, there was a harsh punishment. And so or that harsh opinion. So to avoid that harshness at making the wrong choice, I like people please. I like do whatever you want me to do.
You're a yes person.
Yeah. And as an adult, I'm finding that I'm needing to like detach from that and really being intentional about the way I make decisions, because I still feel that innate fear of somebody disagreeing with me or not liking the choice I made or me making a wrong answer or me making a mistake. And I get that like an anxiety almost. And I'm like, ooh, I got to unlearn that. So it just sounds like, and then she didn't say how her sisters were treating her in this letter.
She didn't. And I feel like the sisters kind of see it and maybe like she seems like she has more of a conversation with her sisters. Because she said she doesn't focus on it. She spoke a little bit to her sisters about it. But I think she's enjoyed it maybe for a while. And although she knew it was different, maybe now, like you said, that she's older, she's realizing this is not normal. And probably now she's dating and wants like mom's there to make sure she's doing a doggy style the right way. Like, what the fuck? That's just weird. And me as a mom, I remember when Ayana was 7 or 8, I wanted her to play basketball. So I had this envision. I wanted a son. When I found out I was having a daughter, I was like, fuck, like, what the hell? But I'm like, it's cool. She's going to be just like me, a tomboy, like her dad, play sports. Negative. The girl wanted makeup and high heels, so I put her in basketball because I'm like, you're going to play basketball. I play ball. Your dad play ball. You have to play basketball. Like, I know you're going to be amazing. Yeah. Like, the only reason why I lost my scholarship was I got pregnant with you. Like, nigga, you're going to play. You're going to play. So I put her on. The first season, she cried the whole time. She was terrible. So the second season, she begged me not to go back on. I'm like, no, you're going. It's the first season. You're going to get better. She started dancing in the middle of the dance floor. One time, took the ball, didn't even dribble, went the wrong way, scored, wrong basket.
I've done the same.
And then I'm like, did you do it on purpose? But I don't think she did. And she would watch the cheerleaders dancing. And I'm like, this is just not for her. Yeah. So I had to give up I realized I was living what I wanted through her because I didn't do it. So I had to give that up quick, but I don't think her mom ever, it didn't click for her mom like it clicked for me. So just talk to her. And it's going to hurt her feelings.
Yeah, it's going to be a big show. Your mother's definitely going to put on a huge show. But go through it, be uncomfortable, and have that talk and draw those. She needs boundaries. She needs different, whole new set of boundaries.
Boundaries are huge, especially at our age.
And she needs to check in on the relationship with her sisters. I'm a little weird that she's not aware that there's siblings. She didn't mention it.
How they're feeling.
Yes.
I think that's so.
Ain't no way you can have that child. I have one little sister. Little? And the jealousy there. I can't imagine if she was in front of my face getting name brand cars, all that shit, and I'm sitting here with what? Oshkosh bagosh? I would fight somebody. Are you kidding me?
So I experienced that growing up. Like, there's definitely a divide and a favoritism in my family. And to this day, it's there. And I had to learn how to, so I'm coming from the side of her sisters, to just detach from it and say, I don't care. But sometimes you can't help but to look at, it's right in front of your fucking face. Yeah, like, it's noticed. Like, I'm sitting here eating bologna. This is not literally the food. I had good food. But and the other one has a steak. And I'm like, well, what the fuck? Or like one can go out and stay out longer and hang out. And the other one has to, like, I had to be home. So I'm like, there's a different treatment. Or one gets a car and the other one can't get it. Or one gets like a bullshit car and the other one gets a new one. I'm like, what the fuck? Or one gets college paid for completely and I'm sitting here with $65,000 worth of student loans. That was
me. Sorry, sis.
Right. And I'm like, don't you ever, I wondered, do they ever think this is not right? But why speak up? And that's what she's doing. Yeah, what happened to me? Why?
All the gifts.
If you speak up, you're going to lose what you're getting. So it's a selfishness, and you have to think about not only yourself, not how it's affecting you, but there's been so many years that your sisters have probably been feeling this way, because I think sometimes that I wouldn't allow that to happen.
And her sisters must be really hella nice that she went unaware this entire time.
I would have fucked her up.
I would have said something a long time ago.
But when you say something, because I have said something, you're jealous. Or you just want to just be yourself. Stop worrying about everybody else. Stop trying. That's what I was told.
I would have turned your true religions into fucking cat, fucking cat capris, little shorts. Literally,
you never felt that way at home
about
like with siblings, like sibling rivalry. And this bitch, she over there eating pumpkin shit. She doing the white shit. Is over there sitting there eating pumpkin shit. She don't know what the fuck going on.
I'm just making sure these levels are good.
She said, I'm over here tearing this fucking pumpkin
First
cake
off,
down.
let me just say, y'all thought I was going to interrupt this whole show, and I'm letting y'all rock. Now you come. I wasn't ready. What's the question?
Skip over her ass. I ain't started.
Never mind. I ain't talking to you no more.
Oh my God.
We're going to go to our last segment real quick.
Last segment. I'm here.
Catch this minute, Mac, bitch. We're going to go into our shit talk. She'll probably be listening to this because she loves to talk shit. And actually, I have a shit talk, but I actually don't want to say it until I do something because it's a confession that I have for her, so I'm not going to do it
Wait,
just
you're
yet.
doing a confession with me?
Yes.
Bro, don't be doing this, dog.
I'm not going to do it now. But I will still talk shit about you because I came to New York and I'm thinking I'm going to, have a great time with her. But for some reason, it seems like every time I land in the city, because she thinks that I'm Mexican and she does not know how to separate the Latin cultures, she puts me to put shit together in her house. She acts like she found me at Home Depot every fucking time. There's always boxes at her house when I land, and she's like, I have a project. Let's put this together.
We got a project, bitch.
So I want to talk to anybody that has Hispanic friends. We all don't know how to build things. We're going to figure it out.
You fixed the fuck out of that bed frame, bitch. I don't know what you preaching about. You good at it. That's why she keep asking you.
She did.
No.
Hey, and then we laid on my bed. And she loves it.
Oh, yeah, you did a good job.
We did an amazing job.
We flipped my mattress and all. We was ready.
Right. Yes, and we flipped the mattress. We had to I've done your shoe rack. What else you want to say? There's always something to build with
now
this
you
bitch.
found your new source of income. You
I
better be
told her,
outside.
I'm going to
yeah,
add.
I don't pay her.
No, she got to go outside and wait on city
So
view.
this is the thing about Mexicans, and I don't know if I should say this,
Oh, boy.
but like,
When you preface, I don't know if I should
Here we
say
go. Sorry,
So,
Latinx
like,
community.
when I grew up, you used to know you could get Mexicans to do a job for like a 6 case of beer
You can do it
and
now.
some food. You could get niggas to do a job
for some
for
weed.
chicken and a fifth of Henny. Like, yo, I got you. So like,
Come over here and smoke and drink
you
with
know,
me.
I got weed for you, drinks. I'm gonna feed you today. Just come help me put this shit together and pack these boxes. So when she come to town, I'm like, baby girl, I ain't got no niggas here. We gotta do this together.
I gotta be her nigga. She really needs a boyfriend. So we're still on the hunt for a boyfriend for Mandii. So if you are available, if you are a man, if you're willing to deal with her
Whatever that
mouth,
means. Whatever that means.
take care of that. Take care of you.
Offensive. Shout out to Tamar.
You know. Shout out to Taylor.
No, this one needs somebody.
You
who
gotta
will
want to
come.
touch Mandii at all times.
Nah. She be getting her. You can't touch her at all times.
Yeah.
She not gonna want that all the time.
It's weird. Like I realized, and I recently learned it from my listeners. There's a thing called an extroverted introvert.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm one of those who does feel the need to be around a lot of people, and I love to be surrounded by a lot of people, but at any given instance I can sink back into my introverted ways, and now I don't want to be around anyone. And so even I am talking to a guy currently, and I told him, I said, listen, if you come out here for more than 2 days, I may tell you to go sleep in the guest bedroom for one of the nights. Like, because I am someone who I don't think can have someone around me 24/7. But I think a lot of us are that way, especially in the creative community, or even people who feel like they have to maybe move themselves up in corporate. You have to go to the dinners. You have to go to the hosted events by your corporate. And you're around a lot of people. And then you go home and you're around your children, your husband, your kids. You're around family. No, baby girl. Sometimes I do need to detach myself from.
How long has it been since you quit?
From my job, I quit June 26th. I'll probably never forget it. And so
You won't.
I am about 3 or 4 months out from quitting my job.
Because I just had the conversation with my boyfriend. I told you I had a really bad panic attack. The day before I came over here? I had this past week. It happened multiple times, and it was at the mall. So I'm having, and once I went back from New York back home, I've been a huge introvert, and I don't like being around people, and I don't want to go out.
I've noticed that since you left New York.
Yes.
You're a whole new person.
I don't want to be outside, and I started.
No more fucking alcoholic stories. God damn.
Right, and I started realizing that, and you had left your job as well.
So if we're talking about this, honestly, I would love to hear your gauge on it, because you did leave a job, ventured into the creative space as an entrepreneur, and then realized these bills aren't going to pay themselves. Let me get back into a job.
We talked about it. You weren't here.
Yeah, but I want to know from you how that's Hold on, calm down. Calm down. Jesus. I just want to know how that's affected even your social. We're going back to being social. So how it's affected your social capacity. Do you find yourself being able to go out more now that you're back working and not the entrepreneur? Or do you feel yourself sinking back into a hole where you don't want to be surrounded by people all the time?
I've been the same, and
I have
been the same. I'm always very, very introverted. The fact that I had a social summer the way I have, I've been outside all summer.
Yeah, because
Jameer
we was
hit me up,
at.
he was like, "Wow, like you were really like talking to people," and I'm like, "Yes, like I was really outside," and that's so unusual for me. But that was very intentional to like connect with creatives that way, and like just make new relationships and new friends. I love y'all.
As usual, and I think some introverts don't do that. There's some introverts that say
you have to go.
You have to force yourself. And
but I enjoy my time when I'm out. But there is a time when that clock hit and you like
you feel exhausted.
And now working a full-time job, I'm aggy. Like on like Wednesday, when them same group of people just be in my face talking and asking questions, and I feel myself getting sharp with the answers. I'm like, I don't want to talk to you.
Oh,
I don't want to have a conversation.
The only reason we have you today is because it's a short week. Because it's Thanksgiving Day week. And that's the only reason why you're like, oh, baby girl, I'm really not working this week. It's a short week.
I feel like I was so used to being home and having my own schedule and doing my own thing. And now like all these people like have requests for me and like tasks and responsibilities, and people are asking me questions all day. And I'm like,
I couldn't imagine that right now for myself, because I realize I've been stuck. I'm in a room all day. So I might be creating videos, or my shows are going out, and there's all this like interaction between me and the internet. But when I got to the mall when the fuck did I get here? 2 days ago. Whenever I was at the mall, Sunday, I was surrounded by, it was so packed. I didn't know why it was so busy. And then he's like, it's the holidays or whatever. But it made me really anxious. And I'm like, I'm not scared of being around people or anything like that, but I wanted my quietness. I wanted to get the fuck out of there. And when my heart started racing, I got outside of the mall. I couldn't remember what the fuck my car was. So now I'm like a retard. Like, that's a really bad word. Should not have said that.
Problematic.
Shit just be coming out of my mouth.
I've tried to work on her
Diarrhea
all
of the mouth.
I have tried to work on her all summer, and I'm problematic. But to know that I tried to work on her, but with what you're talking about, it's crazy because anxiety is something that I've been facing, and I've been openly discussing it now because it's something that
new
I
to
never
you,
really.
kinda.
Yeah, bitch. I was like, therapy, bitch. That means something wrong with you, ho.
Literally.
Literally. And so like I've now been facing anxiety now, but with the idea of this social media construct where we can interact with as many people as possible, and it's at the click of our fingertips. We don't realize it, and now we shut down when we're around actual human beings. That's why the idea of making new friends is different. The idea of dating is fucking impossible now. Right. The idea of communicating with people is now, how do you communicate past a text message? Because everything is at our fingertips, but human interaction is so different. It's so different.
Or performing your own song, Summer Walker. She said, oh, I don't like this part.
Right. She's like, I want to be in the studio, and that's it.
That part.
And that's fine. We have to realize that if that's who you are and that's how you feel, girl, that's what you're going to do. But try to do something like you did. You forced yourself to go out of the box. Like when I go back to Orlando, I told you I'm going to force myself to do that event because I have to. Shut up. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I am. And I'm telling myself I have to do it because I can't stay in this hole and this rut that I'm staying, because now when I go out, I'm anxious as hell. I don't know what to do.
My thing is, and for, I mean, any of your listeners listening, specifically even maybe, people in their 30s who are just...
You acting like you're not right around the corner, bitch. You're knocking on the door. Knock the fuck knock.
Calm down. I want to talk about like how where you love everything that New York offers, and I feel like you get yourself in a rut to shut Orlando down. And so it's people who are in situations where they hate, and they just remind themselves how much they hate it and how everything is better elsewhere, instead of creating something that fits for them in their present state. Yeah. And I think that that's something that you need to do, because you see all the creatives in New York. You love when you're here. You love the energy.
Love it.
And then as soon as you get back to Orlando, you're in a state of depression.
Yeah.
And that is mental into what you need to work on.
It's mental, but it's also reality. it's reality. When we go, but I get here, it's like immediately there's something to do. When I get to Orlando, I'm like, maybe.
Just because you with me.
No, bitch, they invited me first. Stop. She was real mad. Like, how they told you first? No, but anyways, Latasha, can you please plug everything you're on? Because I love watching your videos. I think you're amazing on everything that you go on. So how can they find you and connect with you? Because this is going out tomorrow. What you know for things that, oh, you ain't got no boo. I forgot.
Wait, she has family, bitch. Damn. What are you doing for Thanksgiving, Latasha?
First of all, I'm going to see my family.
Thank you.
During the day.
Thank you.
And then I'm going to see some friends in the night.
Thank you. And what do you give thanks for? What are you thankful for?
I'm thankful for the sex toy you gave me from the
Wait.
UNSOLICITED space.
Which one? Why did you give me one?
With Sham Booty.
Shout out to Sham Booty.
Sham.
We did a YouTube space for her book, The Heart of Desire.
I had just left, didn't I? I was mad.
So she dropped a dating book.
The Game of Desire.
The Game of Desire. Thank you very much. There you go. Sorry, I've been drinking.
Wasn't gonna get there.
The Game of Desire by Shan Booty. If you guys want to follow her, it's a book on dating. But she was sponsored by a sex toy company, and the toy that I gave her, she said she has used to oblivion.
That's my man.
Really? What does it
That's
do?
my
What kind
man.
is it?
It just literally sucks your
The
clitoris.
suck clitter.
Oh, it's like yours?
Yeah, but mine is $200. That probably ain't $200. But
But it sucked the same.
It gave me $1 billion. I know
that's
right.
It's sucking like $1 million.
they didn't pay, so I don't want to make it an ad. But
Of course.
she's
was
enjoyed the
sexy
toy.
anyway.
Why he
Listen-
never
listen
given me
to
a
me.
toy? Shit talk. My friend has never ever given me a toy for me to play with
Shit
myself.
talk. Y'all want to know how she has a boyfriend? I gave her a
Stop.
condom when she needed one. Hey, shit talk. You better
Turn
not
that
cut
microphone
out.
off.
I sure
I'm
have not.
crying this shit.
So, Latasha, can you let the Shit I'm 30 listeners know
Jesus.
where they can find
Please,
you
because
and watch
I
you,
need to
please?
get her off this fucking microphone.
I was off the whole episode.
You shouldn't have come back for that. Where can I find you, friend?
I am on YouTube, the Just Latasha channel. I got new videos every Tuesday and every Thursday. You can also check my all-black indie streaming network called Aurora TV at auroratv.com, where I got my web series up there. A whole bunch of black creators got their web series and short films up there. And I'll be on the Grapevine and all your favorite podcasts.
Yes, and you have. Are you guys coming back with We Shall Ever Shug?
I believe so, but we ain't talk about it yet.
Okay, just kidding. But I was on there and it was fun.
I love that show. And I love Jameer Pond. Shout out to my boy Jameer.
I know. Jameer's been on here before.
Oh, has
Love
he?
Jimmy.
Yes.
Yes.
He came on here a while ago. So we got to bring y'all back together.
my little ponds.
I know. Anyways, thank you guys for tuning in. Please don't forget to rate and review the podcast. Share with your friends. That's how you allow us and me to keep growing within this space. So I can keep bringing you content. Don't forget to support our sponsor, Blue Chew. If I told you that I'm having great sex off of it and I want to give you a bunch of hours of amazing sex, take advantage of
real
it.
quick, this is weird because they know who you're having sex with.
Shut the fuck up. You shut up. Because he talks
Sorry.
about how he uses it with me
Okay.
all the time.
All right.
Listen.
Whoa.
Wait. Yo, turn the mic off. We are gone. Goodbye minute mark at this time.